happy. I was even in there with my kids for a while. Y'all the ones that took a long time. Y'all made a story about that.
No, we didn't make a story about it.
Okay.
Just made a line about it. Just said. Because it just seemed, I mean, in fairness, it seemed San Antonio and last night, you got out pretty quick. That's all.
Y'all wanted to talk to me last night?
Yes.
Yeah.
We want to talk to you every time. You're a two-time All-Star. You're
Hurry up a little bit. Especially when the kids is in. It's 10:30. My bad. I apologize. I'll try to wait a little longer. My fault.
We were with Ty. We were with Ty. So as soon as we're done with Ty, we
It's
come
not
on.
good. My fault.
Another thing that we did make a big deal out of was Kevin, the way he handed you the ball after that rebound last night. I mean, we know things aren't great between you guys. Is that how do you take?
Why aren't things great?
Well, you called him out on Monday
What did I call him out for?
for missing practice and missing the game with the headaches. And
To be real, I didn't call him out. I asked him why wasn't he at the game during the game supporting his teammate. And then after the game, I asked him I didn't ask him because he wasn't there, so I was seeing where he was.
okay.
So I didn't call him out either. So those reports, whoever's saying that, there's no bad blood between me and Kevin Love.
Okay.
And we go back to 5th and 6th grade. I asked a question where he was, and it was never clarified.
Okay.
And that's all it was. So the rebound, did he say anything about the rebound?
He wasn't asked about it, but I mean, the optics were, you know, he grabbed it and instead of flipping it to you or bouncing it or handing it, he bent over and kind of dropped it to you.
Did you see I was
was
smiling right after? Did you see that part?
well,
Okay. Like there's nothing between me and Kevin Love at all. I approached him about the situation, and he went out of the house like it shouldn't have been, but it was nothing bigger than what the world was trying to make it, like some type of beef between me and him. It's never been that, and I've never been that guy to do that. So to clear all that false whatever everybody's writing up, that's not cool at all.
from a bigger picture, I mean, we've gone over and over it with your hip, leaving that out. Do you feel like you are fitting here within the offense and with the other stars and all that? Do you feel like that is something that
Not as well as I want to right now, but it's gonna take time. Like I'm in a whole new situation. I'm used to having the ball every play. I'm used to making most of the plays. So I gotta figure out, and the team has to figure out how we can use each other's strengths and use that as a positive. And it's gonna work out. It just takes some time. And I'm not back to who I am. So like I'm trying to figure out how to play with LeBron. I'm trying to figure out how to play with Kevin Love. At the same time, trying to get my rhythm back in real live action. So that's gonna take time. And I mean, I'm not panicking. I don't think anybody in this locker room is panicking, but the people outside is locker room, which is fine. They're entitled to their own opinion. But one thing about me, I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna keep grinding, and it will work. At the end of the day, it will work, and I'll figure out how to use my strengths with this team and vice versa.
Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe too, so y'all don't miss nothing.
It's bigger than what we talked about on Monday. It's bigger than that. We got to be a better defensive team. We got to not be stagnant on offense in the fourth quarter. We got to do those type of things to be a better team overall. I don't think that talk had anything to make us better. There was questions that wasn't addressed.
could it help with communication?
For sure. I mean, on and off the floor. I think that's what the biggest problem was in that meeting that we had was communication. And then on top of playing on the court, offensively and defensively, we got to communicate better. We got to have each other's back. We got to trust each other on both ends of the floor. And as you can tell, like that trust is not there yet. And, I mean, we have 8 new players on this team. It's January, but we still got a lot of time to try to figure it out. And I think at the end of the day, it's gonna work. But like I'm in a new system, a totally new player that came in the middle of the game. A player that's supposed to be very impactful on this organization. Like, that's not gonna work overnight. I don't care who you are. And to the fact that everybody wants it to happen overnight, and those first 2 games is like, oh, they're gonna beat the Warriors, and then we're going on a 3-game losing streak. It's like Isaiah needs to get on the bench. That's disrespectful to the work that I put in. But I mean, you gotta eliminate that noise and keep pushing, and that's all I've ever done. And at the end of the day, I feel like we have a good chance of making this work, and we'll see what happens.
When you had your first 2 games back and you scored 17 and 19, everybody was very excited, and then you even said after a while, like, well, that was better than it should have been, right? So then, you know, in your first 8 starts, you guys were outscored by 23 points per 100 possessions. So would you say that it looked worse than you thought it would or should? Like, did it get worse than maybe it should have been, or?
I mean, we just wasn't playing well. Like, no matter what you lose by, no matter what, I think there were just 2 games that really stood out, and that was Minnesota and Toronto. And other than that, even that OKC game was not a good game for us. But other than that, like, the problems we have now are the problems we had in November on that night, 19 out of 20 wins. Like, we've been the lowest 5 defensive team in the NBA the whole time. So when I come back, why is it's my fault now? Like, that's which life isn't fair, but that's not fair, bro, at all. And I just laugh at those things because I know in this circle, in this team, everybody believes in each other, and everybody's in here for it to work and for us to be playing in June, and that's the ultimate goal.
Is it fair to use the word dysfunction right now?
I don't think so. I think that meaning or whatever we had was blown out of proportion of what it really was. But like, I mean, being on this team, you see anything that happens, it's a little blown up. And it's a little more than what it really is. And, I mean, that's just being on a team with LeBron James. That's what happens. But every day is a new day, and I think for the most part we've been as positive as we can be with all the extra noise from the outside. And I know playing better and getting wins will quiet all that extra noise up, and that's our plan of attack.
You mentioned extra noise and stuff being blown out of proportion. Does that make what you guys are trying to accomplish even more difficult? If there's all this stuff that swirls around this team, drama, dysfunction, however you want to categorize it, does that complicate for you guys as players when you're trying to accomplish?
I think it does a little bit. I mean, at the end of the day, we're human. People can be like, man, I don't see none of that. I don't worry about any of that. But like, you're human. You got friends. You got family. You can block all that out, and people are still gonna figure out a way to get that information to you. So I mean, it's definitely tough, but we're professional athletes. It comes with the business, and you just gotta keep pushing. You gotta somehow figure out to have tunnel vision and really lock in on what's very important. And that's these players, this organization, and the ultimate goal of winning the NBA championship.
Has anyone in the organization approached you about shot selection? About your shot selection?
No.
It hasn't been a topic.
What do you think about that?
I've had people in that locker room kind of wonder about
Who?
I can't tell you who.
And it's like,
I'm just.
I mean, if
We're
they
trying
worried
to
about my shot selection, they must not see me play the last few years. Like, that's all I can say about that. If somebody's worried about that, what did you trade me here for? To not shoot? To not find my rhythm? To not be Isaiah Thomas? And I can't be anybody else. So whoever's saying that, I mean, I don't know what I'm here for if I'm not here to score the ball and make plays after being off 7 months.
You mentioned earlier about coming off the bench. Has that ever been brought up to you?
No, it hasn't.
Just sometimes with these questions, we're not suggesting that it should.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a rookie, so I understand that. Like,
Yeah.
I know what y'all got to do, but I'm letting you know what's real.
In that meeting, since we're talking about what was real, Did anybody say anything to you about your comments about Boston caring more about defense, about the practice habits here? Did anybody bring that up?
And it's crazy because that Boston question was bigger than what it was. Like you asked that.
I sure did.
And you asked what was the difference.
Yeah.
And I told you that the difference was we played harder. And it seemed like we trust each other more now. So people made it seem like I keep bringing up Boston. Like, you asked that question.
Yeah, that's not how I wrote it. Yeah.
And no, I don't think anybody else thought of it as anything else. If you really read or seen the interview, like I'm not comparing this to Boston. But I do know practice makes you better and watching film makes you better. And we've done that the last week and a half, 2 weeks, more than we have this season.
Okay, thanks. I wondered before you go. I mean, if you thought it was blown out of proportion, what do you think the purpose of the thing was, or what did you think the message of Monday was?
I think the overall message on Monday was addressing a situation that a lot of people questioned. And we're not talking about Kevin Love LeBron. We just didn't know where he was at the end of the day. And to be real, like, we didn't know where he was. We didn't know why he wasn't on the bench supporting his teammates or why he wasn't in the locker room after the game. And then he missed the next practice, which it still wasn't addressed. So we wanted to address it when we seen him, or when we came together and everybody was there. And that's what it was. Like, it was no bigger than that. And whoever like reported it was, and we was bashing Kevin Love, like, it was nothing to bash him about. We just wanted to know where he was and why he didn't play. And when I told him, or when I told you, we didn't blame him for no loss. The first thing I said is that loss was on us as players. We ain't blaming him. We just wanted to know where was the support. That was the only question, in which we found out he was very sick and he went home. And the only reason why it got blown out and it would last longer than it was is because he missed practice the next day and it still wasn't addressed. So once he came back, it was what it was, and we kept it pushing. And it was all over his food.
Thanks, Isaac.